Hi, dear one. I'll quickly share my screen to go over the assignment. So I have destroyed the stack just now, and I'm deploying it again for demonstration purpose. So for this assignment, what I have done is I have the four REST APIs, two get APIs and post and put APIs. The get review will have the optional parameter feature, and the post and put reviews will only be for authenticated users. And there is a translation feature as well as the translation persistence feature. And my stack would be, this is my stack that I believe has just been deployed. So if I go to my APIs, so there are authentication APIs and the REST APIs. So I will sign up first in order to get the token. That would be a post request, and I have to, let me actually try this on a different. I have to pass the username, password, and email. The email is a registered email. And I should be able to receive a code on my mail. I have received the code on my email, and I will confirm the sign up now. So if I confirm the sign up using the code I received, the it will be successfully confirmed. And next, if I sign in, I will be able to receive the token itself. So to sign in, I will have to use my username and password. So if I sign in, I have received the token now. So now the pending APIs are the REST APIs of the application, which is for the movie reviews. So I will just expand this first to make it easier. Yep. So there are two get APIs. So before I demonstrate my APIs, I will just quickly go over my table as well. So this is the table which is movie reviews. And if I check the items inside the table, there are 5 seed data inside it. So these are the initial data which are present on the table. So if I'm trying to get reviews for a specific movie, let's say I'm trying to get reviews for this movie ID. So movie ID 1, and I'm trying to get only those. Let me replace this with the movie ID 1, and I'm trying to do a get request. And I have not used any token here, as the get request would be public. And if I do the get request, I will receive the two items which are on the table with the movie ID one, which are these two. So I can also further specify this with some optional parameters, which are the review ID. So if we look at the table, there is a review item with the review ID 101. So if I just want to get that, I can specify that here and do a get request, and I will only get that specific review. And I can also add another, I can also filter this further using the reviewer name. And if I give the, let's say if I give the other one, which is this one, and I change the review ID to the corresponding review ID, and this should change to 102, and I should be able to get that specific review for movie 81. So that's the get API, which is public. And the other API is, the other get API is get the translation, get a translated review. So if I check the items and let's say if I'm trying to translate this review, which is of movie ID 1, review ID 101. So if I give it here, the review ID is 101 and movie ID is 1. And this actually needs a parameter, which is language, which I want to convert it into. So if I give, say for example, Spanish, this would be ES, and I also given no token here. This is also public. So if I try that, I should be able to get the translated review. So this is the original review, and this is the translated one in Spanish. So for the initial fetch, it would actually use the translate API to translate the review. But if I check again, actually I should be able to get it from the DB. So it has persistent translation feature or the translation persistence feature. So for subsequent request, it will actually be fetched from the DB instead of the translate API. So if I check this one more time, it would still be received. It would still be fetched from the DB. So if I go to my function, this is my translate API function. As we can see, I'm just, this piece of line is actually just for demonstration to to show that this translation is actually from the DB instead of the translate API. So from the code here, I have concatenated this to the actual response. So it will actually initially will check if the translation already exists, and only then will it use the translate API. So if I go and try another one for initial, it would initially use translate API, and for further, you will fetch it from the DB. And I have not used any token here, so this is a public API. So that was the get request. So if I move on to the post request, for the post request, as the path says, it is protected. So it will need an authentication token. But if I try without one, say if I'm trying to post a movie or a movie review, so I'm not passing a review ID here because review ID is auto-generated. So if I try to post this, this will say unauthorized because it needs an authorization token. So if I fetch the authorization token which I received upon sign in and actually give it here on the header, and if I try this again, the movie review will be added. So the movie that I added was movie ID 14. So if I go back to the table and refresh the items, I should be able to see the movie ID 14 with the review ID 6977 and the content. This is a new review. So it is posted, but it will only be posted with the token. So that was the post API. So if I try the put API, so it needs two parameters, which is the movie ID and the review ID. So I'm trying to update an existing review. So let's say I'm trying to update the one that I just posted, this one. So the movie ID is 14, the review ID is 6977. And I do a put request. Actually, I will disable the cookies for to show that it will not work. And I replace the body with the updated review. So this is the updated review, and I'm trying to update the existing review without a token, and it will say unauthorized. But if I give the token and then try again, the review will be updated successfully. And if I refresh it on the table, you can see that it has been updated to the new one. Yep, so those were the four APIs. So two of them, post and put request, were authenticated. So only authenticated users will be able to post a review and an update a review. Sorry. And if I quickly go over the code, I have actually separated the application APIs into a different construct and the authentication API also into a different construct. And this is my main stack function or the stack class. So that was my demonstration of my assignment. I hope that was clear, and I hope it covered everything that was mentioned in the requirements. So thank you, Damon.